Okay, we're gonna do a little bit of a basic showcase here of the new class Necromancer in World 0. I'm gonna go on like the big details of damage numbers and if it's good or bad. I'm just gonna show you the abilities, see if you guys would want to unlock the Necromancer class. So I'm gonna go over how to unlock it. So basically, go to your classes. It's gonna be the Mastery tab, similar to Major Shadows. You gotta go ahead and use the Demon class and clear 150 Nightmare Dungeons. So as Demon, you'll do 150 Nightmare Dungeons to unlock it. Of course, I own it. I didn't buy Robux. I was given for free from the devs. Appreciate it. Thanks as always, giving me the class for free to test out and play with it for a bit. So that's that. Nightmare Dungeons are unlocked at 150. To do class masteries though, it to be level 100, but you can't do Nightmare Dungeons. I don't think you can before that, so I don't know. It's kind of odd choice there. But other than that, just do this. I wonder if challenge mode gives you +2. Probably not, but +1 for that. So we're gonna do a little bit of showcase, showing you guys abilities, and then we'll do a Nightmare Dungeon, maybe on challenge mode because I have a 0 weapon, but who knows. Anyway, so let's start off with the first things. First things first. Since the Demon class has the same auto attack and dodge, the dodge is the very long one, the furthest you can go out of all the classes, and it's the same auto attacks as Demon, but green instead, basically. Let me take off my pets so it doesn't skew, but this is just a normal gray 150 weapon to show not full damage, but just base damage of 150, so it's just easier to manage there. So it's just the same thing. Here's how auto attacks, pretty much all that. Now let's go over the first ability, which is going to be the Tombstone Rise. It's going to be a AoE attack here. Hit multiple targets, of course. It hits multiple times for the most part, so it's a okay range. Nothing crazy. The first hit is double, it seems. So if it's either 26,000, and then the rest is just half the damage. And how many hits is that? It's like about 5 or 6 hits, and the cooldown on this is like 5 seconds, and it does it in like 2 seconds. So it's not bad, but you're a little bit stun locked when you use it. So it'd be, if you're trying to like move around and kite enemies, it doesn't apply any other debuff. It just does damage. So you gotta be careful when moving around and then trying to use it. Of course, if you're like running away from a target like this, and they're not in range, your character won't turn around, kind of thing. So you have to be a bit careful of the placement and all that stuff. You'll probably find out once you start using it. But it's not that bad. But it's strong. But a bit sluggish, I'd say. Then we have the next ability, which is going to be the R ability, which is Spirit Burst. We're going to go ahead, similar to Spirit Archer, killing enemies, not just doing damage, just killing enemies, will charge up the ability, and it'll do more damage depending on how many stacks it has. You could use it whenever you want, though. Maybe press R. It does base damage for us, 20k. And then if I were to get a stack here by killing enemies, using your abilities or anything, we'll get spirits, as you can see, the blue orbs, and we'll have a little bit of a image below our character, and then we use it again, and now we're doing 40k damage. So about 20k, I don't know, about 10k more damage, but then it scales much more than that for the most part. So collect spirits by killing enemies. Even if you were to, let's say, kill enemies with the ability, then you're going to get it again, just like Spirit Archer. You do damage with it, but then it goes on cooldown. But if I was to do this, kill 3 enemies, I got my charge back. So as long as you kill 3 with it, you're going to be pretty much regenning the stacks for that, or anything really, to be honest with you. Right, and we can show, I guess, we'll just do quickly 2 times, and then it's about 3 kills to charge up a stack, basically. And it does have to hit you, so you can run faster in it, so just be careful of that if you're trying to do that. So here's an example of 2 times. That's 78,000. So it scales exponentially, I guess, or I don't know what the word is, but it's not just a flat bonus with the multipliers, basically. So there's that. And you can go to 4 stacks basically. So there's that. If you want to do that. Other than that, it's a good ability because it has a low cooldown, but you have to kill things so you make it stronger. But you can spam it, of course. But then you're kind of stuck, as in if you're doing like this, you slow down. So you're also causing yourself to not dodge stuff or stuff. But you could probably find some tricky things to do with stuff of dodging. But the downside of it is if you're doing boss fights, right? And there's no ads that are spawning with the boss, you can't charge it. So either you save up the charge and then go with the boss, but it's just one hit. So I don't know, up to you. I don't think it's that great against bosses, but maybe you prove me wrong, because I have no idea. Anyways, now we have the next ability, which is Spirit Cavern. This ability is a AoE damage over time. So you pop it down. It does initial damage. So it does 59,000, and then it does 9k damage for about, I'd say, roughly 6 seconds. So the 10-second cooldown, and it lasts until the cooldown reaches 3.5. So yeah, around 5.5 seconds, around there. So it's not bad. It's just, if enemies are moving, you have to, kite them around and to make them stay. You don't really have a slow. You don't really have anything else, to be honest, to help you keep them in there, unless you're playing with somebody else. But it's decent damage, but it does make you slow when you put it down. And of course, targeting and stuff, if you're walking backwards, you might place it backwards. And you'll probably see it when I use it in a dungeon, but you see that is what this ability does. And yeah, it's pretty basic, but it's not bad, I think. Then we have the ultimate ability, Undead Army. This is the ability that summons for you. They attack anything nearby. I don't think they don't follow you, I don't think, if you put them down. So you have to make sure you're using them correctly. They have health, but they're pretty weak. So here, I'll show you guys what they do. So here they spawn in. You have to make sure, time it correctly, because it's an animation you're stuck in for a little bit, and then you have to wait for them to spawn in. They have 340,000 health, basically. And they apply a curse to the target. But their health, they get one shot. Basically, not one shot, but they don't have a lot of health. They die pretty quickly if they're against the bosses. Maybe I'd say decent against normal enemies, but as you can see, they last for a bit, about 20% the way of a alt charge, basically. So of course, if they're killing enemies, and your alt will charge with it. So up to you. There is that. I don't know if they relieve aggro. They might relieve aggro. I'm not sure, but aggro aggro maybe not on bosses, but normal enemies. Aggro doesn't work that well with bosses, because the person does the most damage to bosses will get aggro to the boss. But these guys do like 30k damage base amount. So they're not gonna really aggro the boss unless you start with ultimate, pretty much. Then they'll aggro. Then they will aggro with the boss, right? So there is that, pretty much. That's the ultimate. We can show you guys how it works in a dungeon. So let's go ahead and do an Ember dungeon real quick. So let's choose one here. Winter dungeon, Kono, Heartland, or treasure hunt. I don't like any of these, to be honest with you. Let me see. I guess we could fight the dragon. I mean, might as well, right? Whatever. We'll do challenge mode, because we do have a 0 weapon, right? So we'll put that on real quick, and let's put this on just for a little bit more. Put some a little more damage, and then yeah, let's see how it goes. To be honest with you. All right. So show you guys how it works, how I would kind of use it in a dungeon. But like I said, there's like no range, and you gotta be careful with how you move around and stepping around. You can't heal like demons. You can't just tank hits. You gotta be a bit careful. So maybe lifesteal might be pretty useful on the class, as it does a lot of hits. It does a lot of hits, right? So we can heal up from the skill, the perk, I mean. So there is that. But I mean, each dungeon varies. Not every dungeon's not every, even though it's the same level, each enemy is different. Each dungeon is different. It varies between bosses. So it might be this class might be good on some bosses, but not every boss. I'm gonna die to this. Pretty funny if I did. The crits are crazy though, but you gotta be very careful though, because you cannot move after you use an ability for like a couple seconds. You really gotta dodge away from it. There we go. Got a big spirit charge, spirit burst. Wow, it's maxed out. Was that maxed out? I didn't pay attention, but it was a lot. It sounded like it. I mean, it's different sound effects. Okay. I don't know, the dragon's gonna be weird, huh? Yeah, you can kill these thorns, you know, look at that. Use our ult for this, see how it goes, you know? Let's try that. Like, we're just stuck. We're stuck. You really have to be careful with that stuff. Oh, they're already getting swarmed. Look at this. It's a all-out war going on here. They're dying. They're legit dying. I gotta help my team. Oh, wait. Oh, they're all dead. Well, that's a bit unfortunate. I'm gonna tell you this. Well, that didn't go too well. Interesting. Maybe I shouldn't just sit there and watch. I gotta actually help them fight. It seems. Our ability is very strong though, but you have to get kills though, right? That's just the one thing about it. You have to get kills with it, or you're not gonna be able to do damage. Next part. We have the elites, bosses. See how that goes. We can use our ult again. That's if we want to do that. But they're not gonna last that long though. Maybe this time I won't, you know, I'll actually save them this time. That's why I die here to these stupid raptors. No health. Great. Okay. Let's see how this goes. I think they just all died. I don't know what happened to them. Guess I should swap to my boss of the boss pet, like the boss of the boss damage here. A bit more. It helps a lot. Huh? Okay, face that way, cool. See, that's like one of the issues. A little bit of an issue there. You're dodging though. F ability is very strong. The initial, if you can get a crit on it, it's crazy damage. But yeah, you have to be moving to use it, or you're gonna get swarmed. Yeah, I don't know how this boss fight's gonna go, to be honest with you. I have no idea. It's gonna be a long fight. You get like a max 4 on the boss, maybe. On the our ability, but don't use it for accident here. It's max 4. 600k damage on a crit. That's nice. That's my ability here, because why not? Boink. Alright, let's see how this goes. I don't know. He might just die, to be honest with you. We'll see. The dragon's not hard. It's not hard to kill the dragon. It's just, oh, damn, boss wise, like we can't even use our R ability that often. We can use our R ability, but it just doesn't a lot. It's also not great to use because it slows you down a little bit, so it's kind of scary to use it sometimes. But let's just use it. Let's see what happens to damage we do with it on with a maxed out here. Oh my god, that was a crit too. I should use my alter. I think they're all gonna die if I use it, but might as well. Let's just try again. Go my army. And some of them survived. Oh, they're doing damage. If the boss doesn't do damage, you know, working pretty well. I've seen the Hades boss, and it wasn't a good time. I'm gonna tell you this already. The Hades boss, they're dead also. But other than that, they're gonna die by time, but also by. Oh, I dodged that. Kinda actually. They actually did pretty well actually. It can work if you use it right on the right time, the right boss, but it's just it varies for the most part, I would say. I forget what they say. No, don't time. Unfortunate. There we go. Good enough, I guess. That's pretty much it though. It's up to you, up to your judgment of what you think the class is. And yeah, I don't mind it that much. It's just you gotta play very safe though. Like when we play demon, like I feel like I can't die because I mean, if you heal correctly, if you heal correctly, then you know it helps a lot. You know, the healing helps quite a bit. But other than that, it can do damage for sure. I mean, here's the thing with these showcases. I mean, they showcase, but also you gotta understand like things change a lot. So anything you watch here could be completely different in the future. So there's that, I guess. Anyways, that's it. Hope you guys enjoy. Very easy, very quick. Not really. It's just everything be timestamped anyway, so whatever.